Hello and welcome to Trinity Online for the 12th of November, 2023. Our narrative lectionary, excuse me, is from the prophet Hosea, Hosea 11. Yahweh says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my child. The more I called them, the more they went away from me and pushed me away. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols. Yet it was me. I was the one who taught Ephraim to walk. I took them up in my arms, but they did not even know that it was I that healed them. I led them with cords of human kindness, with bands of love. I was to them like those who lift infants to their cheeks. I bent down to them and fed them. So they shall return to the land of Egypt. Assyria will be their king, because they have refused to return to me. The sword rages in their cities. It consumes their oracle priests and devours because of their schemes. My people are hell-bent on turning away from me. To the Most High they call, but I don't feel like answering. But how can I give you up, Ephraim? How can I hand you over, O Israel? How can I make you like Admah? How can I treat you like Zeboim? My heart recoils within me. My compassion grows warm and tender. I will not execute my fierce anger. I will not again to destroy. For I am God. I am not a mortal, the Holy One in your midst, and I will not come in wrath." What a text. What a powerful, incredible text. Oftentimes we try to imagine what God is like, and sometimes in an attempt not to, anthropomorphize or to make God too much like a human being, sometimes we just kind of sway over to the other side, and we're so afraid that we're making God in our own image that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to hear and to feel the power of what's being done within these texts, where God describes God's self. Try to imagine what God is like, and we will talk about the Creator, and people will talk about life force and the one who put all the things together. But oftentimes, one of the things that's missing then with that is the power of the emotion that exists. God reveals God's self as much, much more than just an energy or a force. For the last few weeks, we've been using imagery, and here in Hosea, we have the imagery of family, the imagery of relationships within family. "O Israel, I loved you with all of my being." And what was your response, O Israel? Your response was to thumb your nose. I was a parent who gave everything, and they thumbed their noses at me. Grasping desperately to try to convey, to capture the turmoil that's brewing in God's heart. Anybody who's been a parent, anybody who has made themselves vulnerable in love, understands what's going on within this. You remember so well, and I remember just the incredible moments with each of the three of our kids about realizing that not only was I just incredibly overwhelmed by love for these little babies that were in my arms, but I also kind of felt that cold chill of realizing too how incredibly vulnerable I was and how vulnerable I would be. That's what real love does. It's not just about what you're getting. It's not just about this feeling that you create. It's not about having your needs met. But love means opening yourself up and really trying to embrace and to care for the other, to really allow your life to be open to the other person. And when you do that, you are taking an incredible risk, because we know full well that not everybody will respond in kind. And we have, a littered trail of people who have kind of put themselves forward in that way, only to have their spouse or their children respond like God is talking about here. The incredible pain of having Israel basically just say, oh yeah, you saved us from Egypt. You brought us into the promised land. So what? So what? It's what you're expected to do, God. This incredibly powerful image of a snotty, spoiled child who really is just kind of caring about themselves and really doesn't give a rip about what kind of pain they're leaving behind. The breaking point is reached in this text, and God says, oh, man, I cannot protect you any longer. I just cannot protect you from yourselves. Because of what you're doing, the results, the consequences of what you're doing, the hammer is going to fall. Assyria is going to come roaring in. You'll be sent back to Egypt. All of these different things will happen to you, and don't blame it on me. You were the one, Israel, who rejected everything that I could give you. And here we are. Now we look at that and we kind of think, and we often will think in the Old Testament about God's wrath. The God of the Old Testament is God of wrath. But even within that moment where God says, I've had it, I can't take any more, then there's this response where God is saying, I can't. I just can't. Ephraim, how can I give up on you? The thought of ignoring God's people, of refusing their prayers, just brings God to the point of pouring out even more emotion. I was there like a parent helping you to walk, helping you to ride your bike for the first time, doing all of these things to help your life take on meaning and power and to help you grow up. And I can't let you go. I can't let you go. If we take nothing else out of this text, then realizing that this is the God who we're dealing with. This is the God who loves us with the same power. And also realizing that, there is not this God of the Old Testament who's the God of wrath and judgment and law. And then, oh yay, we get to meet the God of love in the New Testament. But instead, God is consistent all the way through. More often than not, it's the way that we are seeing God that changes everything. Here is God with a powerful love that becomes a suffering love because of the way we so take it for granted. Powerful stuff to think about this week. Amen. Amen.